Love is cold. Love is cold. But in the grave we burn and melt to gold. Lavodsky waited for the tears. The tears didn't come. In spite of this, he wiped his face. Disgusting. With a fixed stare, he had just put the receiver on its cradle. What else, if not impatience, had he sensed in the breathing of his family doctor? Impatience and the buzzing of thoughts that had nothing to do with him, Lavodsky. Mustn't forget the baking powder, moth repellent, furniture polish. What else? He could smell his own tiresomeness through the receiver. Breathe in, breathe out. Hang up, old man, hang up. Lavodsky went into the bathroom and threw up. He was overcome by tears. Whimpering, Lavodsky vomited for the first time in ages. The last time it had happened to him, he had still been wearing knickers. What had the girl's name been? Maria? Sophia? The young girl had allowed her hand to be kissed by a man with a mustache. In front of her, a slice of cake. Jealousy had grabbed the schoolboy Lavodsky by the throat. He had stopped in front of the window of the cafe, taken a bow, and spilled the contents of his stomach onto the pavement. Touching his chest, he'd slowly assumed an upright position again. The girl had looked straight through him, her dilated eyes filled with a delight not intended for him or the man with the mustache, solely for the slice of chocolate cake. What made me touch my chest back then? In the mirror, Lavodsky was clinging onto a glass of water. Had my heart dropped to the pavement when I was throwing up, had my arms and legs failed me, I would have noticed that something was missing. Lavodsky rinsed out his mouth, took the shower head, and aimed it at the dentures he spit out into the bath while throwing up, and which now reminded him of a boat capsized in the sick. The jet of water jerkily inched the outrageously expensive and highly impractical ball-retained dentures in the direction of the plug hole. He leaned forward and skeptically picked them up. A dead creature, from which a final prank was to be expected. No, he did not want to encounter this girl again. If she were still alive, she would either be blind or demented or confined to a wheelchair. What was her name again? Maria? Aida? Tamara? After Lavodsky's performance in front of the window, had she finished her cake? It didn't matter. A tablet dropped into the glass of water. After a brief deliberation, it started to fizz and circle, a drunken bee. Carefully, Lavodsky let the dentures fall in after. Plop. Since he had acquired artificial teeth, he found this sound soothing. Perhaps this was connected to the fact that it invariably accompanied the arrival of the Sandman. This must have been where its magical sweetness came from. Plop. And Lavodsky's eyes would already be falling closed. Plop. And he was already whirring into the sunset on the scintillating wings of a rose beetle. What is sweeter than your chocolate cake, girl? Only sleep. And what is sweeter than sleep? Only death. On the short and laborious way to the living room, Lavodsky was annoyed to see his green telephone glowing as if nothing had happened, as if he, Luka Lavodsky, Professor Emeritus of Zoology, hadn't just had a death sentence pronounced down the receiver. We need to talk about your results at the hospital right away. Lavodsky had understood. There was nothing left to discuss. Talk about what? If the results were okay, then you didn't call on a Sunday around lunchtime when elderly patients were possibly enjoying their deepest sleep.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.